Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're talking Tower Gardens tonight. My name's Andrea LaPlante. I am a certified health coach with the Dr. Sears Wellness Institute and a national marketing director with the Juice Plus Company. I'm here with several other health coaches, Nurse Mary, we've got health coach Linda, health coach Nancy, and we just want to welcome everybody who wants to come and learn how to grow their own and how exciting it is to be able to take charge of your own health. So I'm going to actually go ahead and pull up some slides so everybody can. I think one of the best things about towers here is the beauty of them. So we really want to get a good look here. I'm just trying to see if I can get this. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So what's so great about towers is you're taking health into your own hands, but you're also doing something that's very sustainable if that's something that interests you. I was actually I think I took a screenshot. There was this document today online. I'm not going to take too much time looking. I wonder if I even have it close by, but it had a stat. Oh, this is what it is. In the 1800s, 50% of Americans were farming. In 1945, Americans grew 45% of their food in their backyard gardens. And then in 2020, Americans grow 1% of their food in their backyard gardens. And I just stumbled upon that today and I was like, we're really going in the other direction. And what else is happening? Disease is on the rise. Inflammation, autoimmunes, lack of gut health, brain issues. So, we need to really take a look at that and see what we can do to fuel our bodies and be able to get as much good stuff in our bodies as possible. So this is Tim Blank. He's the creator of the Tower Garden, and he started the land exhibit at Disney and Epcot. And basically, people were coming to him and saying, I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's this ride. You get in this boat and you go around and see all this produce. It's just gigantic produce growing the way it does in the tower. And people said, hey, can we grow produce like that? And he felt, I really think it's so important for people and children and families to be able to grow their own food, pesticide free, chemical free. And I have all this technology. I figured out how to grow it here. Let's take it away from Disney, not away. I mean, it's still there, but he created his own company and decided he wanted to get it in the hands of people personally. So that's where it started. So it's state of the art from Tim Blank. There's a Tower Garden home, the Tower Garden Flex. The home is the where you can see the smaller basin on the left. It's got the grow lights and the timer. Can roll right around in your kitchen. You can put 20 plants in there. You can also, if you look at the very top of it, it's got little ports for some microgreens, so you can get your sprouts in there, which are great. Your microgreens. And then on the right-hand side is the green basin, which is called the Flex Tower. And the reason they call that the Flex is just a little bit more, you can have a little more flexibility with it to have it indoor and outdoors, although you can bring both in and out. You would just take the lights off to bring it outside. But the reason the one with the green basin, it's a bigger basin. So if you're going to bring it outside, and sometimes when it gets hot, you need more water to keep it going as opposed to the one with the smaller basin. It just fits easier in your home and you don't have to worry about if there's a lot of sun and it's absorbing water and constantly filling it up. So that's just a little bit about the idea. I have two flex towers with the green basin. They're both inside and I take them outside in the summer. So you keep the grow lights on year round almost. And then if you want to take it out in the spring, you could take the lights off and move it outside. So it's really the future of growing, the future of gardening. There's no dirt. It's actually 98% less water. NASA did a study on it, 90% less space and 100% success. So you grow what you love. You're the only one who touches it. So when you grow in a tower, you pick your produce and you throw it in your smoothie and your Vitamix, you put it on your plate, you eat it, you chop it up. There's no need to wash it. If you're outside, you may need if there are some bugs out there, but in terms of what you're growing, you grow what you love. And the best part is you can grow a variety. You can, set it up, take it down. There are people who have it on their RVs. They take it from one. I have a house down the Cape, so I bring I have two at home in Plainville, Mass, and then I'll take one down the Cape in the summer. So it's very easy to move around. This is just a little chart, which was a while ago. So now with prices that have gotten even, I guess, more elaborate, you're basically, once you own your tower, the produce pays for it. You end up saving money. I would say saving money because, you go and buy a little bucket or, a little thing of kale or organic spinach, and it costs a lot more than when you're growing it on the tower and then you just, pick it and eat it. So when you look at the earth friendly piece of it, it leaves a smaller carbon footprint because you're not driving to the store and you're not putting gas in your car to pick up your food. You're growing it, it's tower to table. Um, it uses only 10% of the land as a traditional farm, which is pretty amazing. 30 tower gardens equates to, what was it? I think it was 30. I have to look at that number again, but it was, I'll get that for you. I'll look through this again. But basically it's 10% of the land and water of traditional farming. So that's really amazing. And the water that you put in the basin recycles itself. So when you put the nutrients in, we have nutrients, the earth minerals, it recycles itself until you need to fill it up again. So it's 30 tower gardens equates to a half acre, I believe, of land. So there's just so much room for growing with towers. This is just a good look at week 1 to week 3 to see how fast it actually grows 3 times faster than a traditional garden. And just taking a look at that, it's really unbelievable when you watch it grow. You start from your seedlings, and in a couple of weeks you have produce that. And the other piece of that too, it's not like you take the whole head of lettuce. You could take a whole head of lettuce out and eat it, but you really just pick off the outsides of the heads or whatever plant you're using. Maybe you cut a little here and there, and the insides of it still grow. So you're not taking it all out. This is a visual of what it looks like with the little rockwood wool pods. So that little green spongy look, it's called rock wool, which is volcanic ash. And you order the little plugs and you just put your little seeds in there, and the seedlings pop up, they start growing. And when they get to, about an inch or two, you just pop them right into the tower garden.
Has anybody that I ordered the germination lights
Oh,
and
yeah.
heating pad,
Okay.
and is anybody else using them, or do you do
So
them on the
I
deck
haven't
of?
used that. I would love to hear your thoughts when you get it. Typically, when I put my seeds in my rock wool and I have my tower on, and I just the tray right under the tower, so it's getting the lights
Yep.
all day like that.
Okay.
That's what I've done. I'd
I
love to hear your feedback when you do use that.
I have it, and I have it set up. But like I said, my tower garden, I bought it for my neighbor, so it's over in her yard. I mean, in her, well, it's really in her hall right now. But her kids go. She likes it because her kids go by and they grab, some lettuce or cucumbers or whatever they want, and so it's good for her. But she does not like. She likes seedlings, so I don't want to keep buying seedlings. So I said, oh, let me buy that germination tower and heating board. And so I actually asked her for all my seeds that I had back, and I'm going to start this week.
Okay. So, what she brought up is there's something that the company has just invested in and is now part of Tower Garden, where it's this little kit, a seedling kit, and it has little lights, so you can germinate and grow your seedlings in that if you wanted to do that, and then pop them in the tower. This is just a visual of towers on your back deck. You can put it by your patio. It can be in your kitchen. Mine's straight ahead in my office. I'll have it in my office, then I'll bring it outside and I'll put it on my deck. So you plug it in, and there's a pump in there and a timer, and it's completely on a timer. So you don't even have to think about it. It's like plug and play. The water shoots up the middle and it trickles down. It's actually aeroponic. The roots are not in the water. It's just the water will trickle down and the air and the water combined nourishes the plant at the roots. So this is in somebody's apartment on their balcony. So you can take this wherever, even if you don't have a patio or a backyard, it could sit on a balcony. It's absolutely beautiful aesthetically. It was in Better Homes and Gardens, so you can see how beautiful it looks. And then we're taking it into
Mm.
ballparks. This was at AT&T Park in California, where Towers are providing the greens for the salads and the burgers and things like that. And just to be able to have that food. Hunter Pace is a Major League Baseball player who really cared about his food and where it came from. He was really someone who spearheaded getting this started. If you haven't heard of the Green Bronx machine, Stephen Ritz is a teacher with a cheese hat on in the picture who really wanted to get food in the hands of people, and especially kids in the South Bronx who in every corner it's processed food and convenience stores. So he found Towers and he's been all over the world now. He's been to Rome, he's met the Pope, he's been to Dubai. They're putting Tower Garden farms in the desert. I mean, they're growing everywhere, but basically they're getting this in hands like what was just discussed earlier. Kids will eat what they grow. And when you have greens on your tower, it's what happened with my boys who wouldn't touch any greens. They'll just walk over and pull a couple of leaves of lettuce off their tower and eat it. And it's really giving kids the ability to understand where your food comes from. I'd be in the classroom with the kids just volunteering, talking about the towers, and you ask them where their food comes from. They don't know. They don't really understand that all our food should come from the source should be seeds, the plants, and they think it comes from package in the grocery store. So this was the Plainville school where I had the kids growing inside the classroom. So if this is something that you're excited about and you think, oh my gosh, I know teachers, or I would love to do this, or I would love to help at school, there's the ability the schools apply for grants and they don't have to actually invest. They can have the grant pay for the tower. So that's an opportunity too. And it's just so nice to see these kids eating greens and saying, oh, Mrs. LaPlante, I never knew that, bok choy was spicy or basil. I never knew lettuce had a smell. And it's like, oh my gosh, you get that iceberg lettuce wrapped in thick plastic at the grocery store. There's nothing there. It doesn't look like it could nourish at all. You don't smell anything. It almost smells like ammonia or a chemical. And you pull basil off the tower, it's on your fingers and you can smell it throughout the day. You can smell it in your house. So when you can smell your food, there's nutrients in there. And then just a few more pictures of the kids harvesting their greens and bringing it to the cafeteria. This is an idea of having it in a preschool, and kids are learning as part of their curriculum how to grow and implement that throughout their day. Restaurants they're picking up the idea in restaurants. This is on the roof of a restaurant in New York City, which is absolutely amazing. So, I mean, I'm blown away every time I see this picture, and they use all the produce to sustain the restaurant below. In O'Hare Airport, there's Tower Garden Farm, and there's commercial farms that are popping up all over the world. This is a great idea of having this in a vet program. You could get assisted livings or vet services or hospitals, schools, you name it, anywhere where people value clean food. This is just an image of mine. You can see it through the blinds. There was a blizzard that day. And I mean, you think about how, wherever you live, whether like New England, there's a few months where you can garden outside. And even with that, you're worrying about pests. And then maybe it's too hot in August and everything burns, or you can never guarantee proper weather conditions in New England. And then if you're in other parts of the country, it might be too hot and you may only have a shorter window. And so this is something you really can use year round, and it just helps give you that control back over your food. If you're on the beach, you can't grow, but you could have a tower on the side. You know, if you have a roof deck or whatever attached to your home. This is just an idea more of commercial farms that are popping up around the world, and you can see how much produce is displayed here, how beautiful it is. And then this is a really large scale that's these are popping up, and you're able to serve communities this way, which is pretty amazing. You can have various things on your tower. There's 20 pods. If you decide there's an extension, you can use the extension kit. There's the microgreens. And then this, of course, is on the go. You can set up your towers and they can go with you on the road if you're in retirement and you have an RV or wherever you are. Um, and just the reasons for growing, cost effective, it's food grade plastic. So that's something that when people ask is non-contaminants. It has the UV protective coating. Um, Everything, if you were to order it, you click on, you get the bulk tower. If you want to add accessories, you can do that. I've never had pest issues with my outdoor tower. And the reason being is when the pump clicks on, you can hear it and it would scare away deer, bunnies, whatever. I've never had an issue with pets outside. And it grows faster. What I love is you don't have to worry about recalls. You don't have to worry about contaminants. You grow what you love, you eat what you love. There's no contaminants like herbicides, pesticides, fertilizers, there's no weeding, and it's got a higher nutrient density. So again, the Tower Garden home on the left and the Flex is on the right. And of course, we have some research which just compares how it does grow faster. And then I remembered the quote, a half acre of tower gardens equates to 30 acres of land and produce. That's what I was trying to say earlier, and I think I got that mixed up. Um, so that's it. I'm going to stop the share now. Okay. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. But that's what the Tower Garden simply looks like. And what I'm going to do now is just ask Linda just to show her tower because it's right behind her in her house. And that way you can just get a feel for what it looks like inside.
Yeah, so just when you order the tower, it comes with a starter kit. So it comes with the nutrients you need, but it comes with, Andrea talked about the rock wool, and it comes with these little neti pots. So basically I just soak the rock wool in water, so it's just, the seed will take to it. I put the little seeds in, and I think I'll just shut off the lights on it for a second. You can see it. Maybe a little bit better, but I have tatsoi down here. Can't see the whole thing, but I have, this is romaine that I planted about 3 weeks ago. I'm just going to pull it out so you can see the roots grow aeroponically. There's a pump that comes with it. The pump sits in that bottom reservoir that you saw, either the green tank or the white tank. It pumps the water up to the top, and there's like a rain cap with a bunch of little holes in. And all the water with the nutrients in it just go down and water the beautiful long roots. And these will get pretty they'll get pretty thick over time and pretty long, and just super healthy.
And you can give it the roots a haircut too. Like when you have the tomatoes outside in the summer, the roots get pretty thick. So I'll just put my hand in there and I'll cut them and then just take the roots because they grow pretty fast. And what's pretty cool too is if you have rainbow shard, the roots are pink in color and take on the color of the shard, which is pretty interesting too.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it just you'll hear it, maybe not. It pops in. So there's all these little, I forget how many. There's either like, I think 20-ish ports, and you can buy an extension where you can put those microgreens that one of the slides showed. And then, like Andrea said, there's a timer up here. The lights go on for 14 to 16 hours, and you can time it so, it shuts off by whatever time you'd like, 9 o'clock at night or something like that. And it doesn't have to be near a window. People keep it in a basement. People always think like, I need more light. I'm like, No, you kind of just need like the light of like the natural sunshine. So I keep the lights on during the day, they go off at night. I have one in my daughter's apartment at Northeastern, and then I sort of adjusted her so her lights go off a little bit earlier because she didn't want the, the lights on after 7 o'clock. So they just go on a little bit later in the they start at like 3 in the morning, but they're sleeping, so they don't care. And then the pump, and it's kind of like a nice natural thing, especially in the winter. It's great for like seasonal effective because you have the natural light from the LED lights. And I think they said it uses, I don't know, or a few years ago, it was like $12 in electricity a year. It's basically nothing. And then like Andrea said, like we'll just go and we'll kind of just pick off around it. I won't chew in front of you. But we'll just, so you can get a wide variety as opposed to when you go to the supermarket, you buy, a little, plastic thing of usually one type. Maybe you're buying arugula, or you're buying spinach, or you're just buying romaine or something like this. But here you can get the wide variety. So you can get all the phytonutrients from all different types of plants. So it just makes it super healthy. Sometimes we throw it in our, if we juice, we'll throw it in our juicer. Tonight we made, thanks to Nancy, walnut tacos. So I took a bunch of the good lettuce, which is hiding in the back. And anyway, it almost looks like a flower. So we just took a bunch of those. We, lined the plate. We put on the walnuts, some salsa, some sprouts, and it's just, great. And everything you buy at the supermarket, everyone probably knows, you're lucky you don't know what nutrients are there, and you're throwing it out because it's turning brown and slimy within days. So it's sustainable. So I planted these seeds. I planted the seeds. I put these seeds right in the rock wool, and I put it right into the tower. When you start off, you keep the lights like super close, maybe like 4 inches away. So it grows stronger seeds. And I actually do own that germinator kit that Beth was talking about. So these are lights, and it comes with a mat. And you don't have to get this because I've been growing for 3 years without it. But it's just nice if you want to start some other ones. And then the mat is heated. You put it in a Pyrex or something like that with some water, and you can start seeds. So and it's great because it's just like a little experiment. So if all of a sudden you grow something or you grow too much, right? That's a horrible problem to have. I'm being sarcastic, but you just, then you learn how to like, stagger them. And maybe I need to start my seeds, 2 months out because I know something's going to be maturing. So it's sort of, trial and error as you start, but then you get used to it, and then like it's hard to live without it. So maybe
Love
after
it.
4 months or so, I'll put in some new seeds. All of a sudden things will start to flower. They call it bolting. So like, and it turns a little bit bitter. So it's time to pull out that port. And then I try to have seedlings ready to go in so you're never without it.
I love
Linda,
it. I love it.
I like that idea because when your plant is ready to come out, see, I don't have a germinator, then I have to wait for the new ones to get going, and then in the meantime, I have to buy lettuce, and I don't like doing that.
Right.
It's
And
you brought up a good point about how much you love it. I remember when my kids were little and they used to say, "You care more about your tower garden plants than us." Because I just like go in and look at the babies growing and be like, look at these babies growing. It's just still mind blowing. 11, what was it? Maybe 8 years later. Just knowing that you can grow like that indoors.
yeah, it's and I mean, there's some people get really into it. I don't really talk to my tower. I don't sing to it, but honestly, people name them. They sing to them, they talk to them like the plants have, the plants are alive. No
They
one
are.
no one wants to hear this voice very often, so I'll probably kill the plants. So
Can you all share what type of tomato you use in your garden? Because we had more vine than anything else this summer.
I can tell you, I know the Tiny Tims are really good for indoors,
Okay,
but you might want to YouTube as well, because there's a certain way to prune your plants, and it's something that I've been doing over the years is when, and it's hard to explain it here, but you might want to just say how to prune tomato plants on YouTube and look it up. But it's, and
okay,
you take out like the little suckers from the
yep,
plants, and when the leaves grow, it's almost like there's like three leaves, and I would pick and prune around, and what basically what it does is it makes you have, you know, grow your tomatoes in a smaller space as opposed to the vines getting all crazy. So you
okay,
probably would want to just take a look on YouTube, and you can look on YouTube for the Tower Garden and just ask anything. There's so many things that pop up.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, that information is also on the Tower Garden website. You
Mhm.
can search any plant and they do tell you how to take care of it. So I know I've seen the pruning, pruning for tomatoes on there.
Okay.
Does
'Cause I
anyone
thought,
else
well,
have any?
maybe I wouldn't even do tomatoes in the tower and just put them in a self-watering dirt container. Because they were just, they were all over the place.
They
And we
really
probably had
do. They take
Yeah.
off, and with tomatoes, you want to make sure you cut the roots at the bottom so they don't soak up all the water in the basin. You just
Yep.
have to keep an eye on the tomatoes a little bit more because they can really take off.
But I definitely wouldn't start necessarily or recommend starting with tomatoes. Kind of get used to it, get the
Yeah.
greens, and they're gonna give you more of the phytonutrients, I believe.
And like I said, I don't maintain it as much as my neighbor does, but I'll go over there to take romaine, and lettuce is really the only thing that I take off of the garden. But once I went over there and I said, Joanne, what's what's going on with these tomato plants? But I can remember when we were first thinking about getting them, we listened to one of these Zoom calls, and there was a woman who had her vines were like all over her deck. Do you remember that, Andrea?
Yes, I think it might have been Cindy. I'm
Yes,
not
that's,
sure, but
I
yeah.
think so.
But her whole tower was tomatoes, and she ended up getting so many and freezing them, and she canned and did some things like that. So that's like a whole other thing you can think about. But just to respect everybody's time, because we said this would be 30 minutes. Does anybody have any questions? And if you want to stick around and talk about it, that's fine. But I just wanted to see if anybody has any questions.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So when you harvest the lettuce, say, is that plant done and then you have to put a new one in, or does it just keep growing as you cut it?
So it does grow for a while. So it grows, and what we typically, I know Linda, Nancy, Mary, what we do is we take the leaves and we pick them around the head. So you're
Mhm.
taking the leaves off and it's still growing.
So
So
how long does that last?
I guess it depends on how much you're gonna eat, how often you're gonna eat, how many. You can plant different things. There's 20 pods unless you get an extension. So I do like the romaine. So I'll maybe do 5 different ports of romaine, the same, so that I can pick from all of them, and I'm not just picking on one and then it's gonna be done sooner. So there's like this whole way of thinking about, what do you like to eat the most of? Do you eat a lot of this? How many do you want in your tower? How many are you going to have growing at the same time? So you're picking from each plant and continuing to leave them in there so they continue to grow. So it's kind of like what it is that you like the most and figuring that out and what you're putting in. So you don't have to just pull the whole thing out and start right
okay.
away. It will still continue to grow. But it is great, like, if you know romaine's something you love, like, I love, the Bib lettuce, the romaine lettuce, I love red leafies. Sometimes I'll do 5 of the things that I love so I can pick and have them continue to grow and have that there, if that makes sense.
The other question I had, do the roots get all tangled with each other inside?
No. Nope.
Really.
Yeah, no.
No, and you can cut them as they start to grow down. You're
Mhm.
able to reach in there and cut them. But when Linda just pulled that one out, You can probably trim it if you pull
Yep,
it out.
she could, if she wanted,
Yeah,
she could just
you
cut
could
it with
just
the
trim it.
scissors and pop it back
It
in.
pops right back in very easily. But
Oh.
you can get into it and trim anything
Did you just cut it?
going
So
into the water.
I reached into the tower, there's like a
Oh,
little
yeah.
opening. And you wanna, as it grows down, you wanna keep pulling them because you don't wanna get tangled in the pump. And I was so scared, I thought I was gonna pull it and the whole plant was gonna go through, I'm like, I'm gonna
Right.
mess this up, it breaks off like it's
So
brittle.
easily.
Wow, look how long they are.
But look how long, right? And it's only been, I don't know if it's been 7 weeks-ish, something like that, since I put the seeds in.
So does that come with the lights and everything? Like the way it looks there?
Yeah, there's different bundles, but it came,
Oh, okay.
well, I have two models, so I have the white and the green model.
Mhm.
So the white one, all the white one, well, no, they make it different now. You can buy it with or without lights, and they have
Okay.
bundles with it, and then they also have like a cage that goes around if you grow outside, you're growing tomatoes and you wanna attach it, and they have different accessories.
It's obviously, why do they sell it with or without the lights? Don't you need the lights?
Some people will just grow outside.
Oh.
You
So
do
that-
need
That's
the
an
lights
indoor
though.
one, right?
If you're gonna live in
Yep.
New England and you're gonna wanna bring it inside and grow with lights, that would be
Mhm.
more like, if you're in an area where you're keeping it
Yeah.
outside. But New England, you'd need the lights, yeah. But you can take the lights off and bring it outside if you want. But once you get used to, I find people who have it indoors and you get used to having it inside, you love to keep that tower inside.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then like I have a second one that I'll say, okay, I'll take this one down and move it outside, but I do like having one indoors.
It's handy too when you need it.
It's-
Right, and it's right there and it's just very easy to manage.
So cool to look at too.
Oh, it's not.
I
it's
think it's such a
beautiful.
cool idea.
Yeah, the
And the
first one I
water,
bought.
when the pump's going, it's very soothing.
Oh
Right.
yeah, I was wondering how loud that is. Is that loud?
Not
So
really.
Must not be if it's soothing.
I'll turn it on.
It's nice though, because it makes you say, oh, there's the water. My plants are growing.
You can hear it?
No.
We can't
I
hear
don't
it.
No,
Well, that's good.
It's not that loud.
I can hear it.
The first one I bought during the beginning of the summer. So I had it out on my deck all summer into the fall. Then I brought it indoors for the winter. I bought the lights for it, but it was the outdoor model, the bigger one. So I had it indoors for the summer in my basement. And then the next year I put it out in the spring, had it out all summer, fall. And then I bought the home one, the smaller one for indoors. So I started that one in the fall and then I ended up just running it all year. So I have an indoor one in the basement all year, and then I have the outdoor one pretty much spring, summer, fall. So, and I love having both of them.
It's awesome.
The other thing about the volume of the tower, when the seedlings are very, very small, you can hear the water more, but as the plants start to grow and the roots grow, when the water trickles down, the roots are absorbing the water, which is why you might not be able to hear it. It's a little noisier when the roots aren't in and hasn't grown in yet. And when
Just
it
water
starts,
dripping on water.
That
once
makes
it
sense.
starts to fill in, you don't really hear like a click, but you don't really hear the water dropping. If
And
that
then
So
makes
are-
sense.
Andrea, are you a distributor for this or do you just
You
buy them
would-
online?
Yeah, so you're with Nancy, and Nancy is a partner with the company, so you
Oh,
could
okay.
get your tower garden from her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so any questions you have, let me know.
Okay.
yeah.
Such
It's
a cool
super
idea.
easy. You could put your order in and the box gets shipped to your home. And I think what's great too, if you have grandkids, is like, it's this fun, there's the homeschooling element and there's the teaching the kids and planning with the kids. And, that's great too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Does
Yeah.
anyone else have any other questions before we head
The only
out?
thing I want to tell the woman that was just speaking about considering buying one is that you really do need someone to help you put it together. I don't think the instructions are that great, but if you go online, and Google them on the Tower Garden site, they're clearer.
Mhm.
There's
Some
I
some,
people have
definitely,
videos.
I
They
put
have-
mine together by myself with my kids when they were little. My husband had nothing to do with it. And I feel like if you do need the help, you could ask Nancy and she could direct you to a YouTube video. But I think once you try it, it's pretty self-explanatory. If you have someone that wants to come over and do it with you, and then if you need the YouTube video, they have those. So that's a good point.
The tower that's inside, excuse me, does it have the extension?
You could
Port-
put it's the
Mhm.
same frame, so you can put the extensions. So I have extensions and I don't have the home tower, I have the flex, but
I
it's
have
the
the,
same base, so you could put that on your home tower too if you wanted.
oh, okay.
Mhm.
Because I'm thinking about maybe getting a second one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because Joy does strawberries on just one of her, I think her inside one. And I thought
Yeah.
that might be a good idea.
If you like certain things, you can have one whole tower with something, and then you have your other tower with certain things. So as you can play around with it however you like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna stop the recording here.